Firm Reliance, a reflection for the sixth Sunday in Ordinary Time. In the first reading, Psalm and Gospel for this Sunday, we can detect a common pattern of blessing and cursing that contrasts the behavior of the just and the unjust and its consequences. Though somewhat strange to us, this forth and back feature appears often in the wisdom tradition of our Hebrew ancestors in faith. Jeremiah uses it to highlight his criteria for right living: trust in the Lord. Employing a metaphor familiar to his audience, he compares the meager existence of a bush in the desert with the substantial and reliable growth of a tree planted by a stream. Here, trust in the Lord implies a deep relationship of firm reliance. Psalm 1, making its one and only appearance in the Sunday lectionary, echoes this theme and metaphor. Here, the just one steers clear of the wicked, the sinners, and scoffers, all of whom reject reliance upon God. Instead, this one delights in the law of the Lord, meditating on it day and night. Delight and meditation describe the communion of prayer, wherein the just one opens heart and mind to seek the guidance of the Lord. Another gem from the wisdom tradition, Proverbs 3, verses 5 and 6, sums this up beautifully. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. On your own intelligence rely not. In all your ways be mindful of him, and he will make straight your paths. St. Luke's version of the Beatitudes continues the blessing and cursing pattern, and one can hear overtones of both law and trust. Jesus comes down from the mountain after a night of prayer, retracing the steps of Moses, who descended after his face-to-face encounter with the Lord God, bringing the 10 Commandments. When we hear an echo of Israel in the life of Jesus, we often find a corrective. Remember, Moses came down into the midst of a disobedient people, worshiping the golden calf, lost his temper, and broke the tablets. Jesus descends from intimate communion with the Father and joins the people on their level, bringing the good news of God's reign into the midst of sinful humanity. He calls the poor, hungry, grieving, and persecuted, the powerless people with no illusions of self-reliance, blessed. Jesus does not simply announce something that might happen one of these days. He embodies that something by his words and deeds, imparting to poor, hungry, grieving, persecuted people a dignity beyond their dreams. Calling them blessed, he activates their trust in God and their imagination for realizing the topsy-turvy last shall be first reign of God. St. Luke provides a flip side to the more familiar version of the Beatitudes from Matthew. Those who have all they need and more too easily fall into the trap of self-reliance, rejecting or simply ignoring their inescapable dependence upon God. For them, 4 predictions beginning with "woe" serve up a sober warning. St. Paul reinforces the theme of trust in God, basing his hope on Christ's resurrection from the dead. For Paul, Christ raised from the dead becomes the first fruits of those who have fallen asleep. With hope that extends beyond the grave, we can trust God in the present. A hymn text from my youth comes to mind. God is working his purpose out as year succeeds to year. God is working his purpose out, and the time is drawing near. Nearer and nearer draws the time that shall surely be, when the earth shall be filled with the glory of God as the waters cover the sea.